Chad.
Let's go.
The purpose of like these conversations for me is kind of like a real in-person check-in,
Yeah.
but a check-in for like the last 15 months.
Mm-hmm.
I think I want to start with what is the last week meant for you?
So the last week has been a bit more symbolic of how far and how much time we've actually put in and how far we've actually come. Not just like as individuals, in fact, almost more so as a group. The fact that we're all here and we've all been here, known each other for a year and a half, and then we're moving and traveling to places like this internationally, but doing things that are really meaningful and aligned very well with all of us in our own way. It's meant a lot. It's meant a lot, and it's been a big time for reflection, which I feel like naturally I haven't done that much, maybe as well as I could have in the past, but here we are with great people who help us reflect, and I think that's one of the biggest roles you play as well. You help guide, but also keep perspective, and yeah, it's meant a lot in the sense that I feel like I've made bonds for life, and I just had like a little bit of a moment when I was just like sitting in my bedroom. I'm like, damn, I'm really here in a different country with a bunch of other coaches, and I can't imagine doing that after finishing school or formal education or even starting to be a trainer myself, just like getting into the fitness industry. Like, I didn't have the perspective of that, and I was like, that's pretty dope, because like I could do whatever I want every day, hypothetically. Obviously those actions have consequences, but I chose to engage in a path that involves lots of hardship and development and lots of great rewards, but I chose to do this with these kind of people, and I'm really thankful that I managed to just line up in this timeline with all you guys, and it allows me to be here. And it does make me think that the divine aspect is a bit more at play than naturally I'd think if I didn't meet you, I believe.
I like that divine, like timing, like a divine timing type of thing.
Yeah, 100%. And I definitely think that I'd still make bonds with other people if it wasn't like one of us was like 10 years earlier than the other or something like that. But I'm thankful I have this one, and I just want to make the most of it.
Let's zoom out more.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the last 15 months.
Let's do it.
When you reflect on that experience, the Trinity experience over the last 15 months, what has that meant to you? Your development, your career, for your personal, all of it.
Yeah, so I can't separate it too much, because at least for me, from starting to get into the industry and being a sole trader and personal training at a gym for the first time and rocking up and being like, when do I get paid? to now, it's so much has changed, and it's not just like business or my personal life or my relationships, but it's been a mixture of all of those things. And I think that also reflects in the way that I talk about what I do and what I want to do. It's not just be this kind of coach or be with these kind of people, earn this kind of money. It's very holistic, and it encapsulates a lot of different various factors. And I think the fact that we've been able to cover certain things, from like the first time ever seeing like the check-in tracker, where it's like, oh, we don't just talk about how training's been, it's like gets to like your gut health, which I'm like, I don't really know much about that. Then further down, it's like your personal life and your habits, your stress and your psychology, to business and money. It's it's shown me, it's opened like a new door into what you can help people with and what you can actually do. And I think it really resonates with me because I'm not someone who wants to put myself in a box and like label myself as a certain thing or person or professional. And I think seeing you do that and how you carry yourself in that sense and how you help people, not just like with their fitness goals and their personal health, but their psychology and business, money. It's dope because I feel like I can make whatever I want out of my own life, as opposed to like, you do this course and you can go and do this job, and generally like when you do this job you have to do these things this way, and it's been like, nah, like blow up the box and be outside of that. And I feel like I've really done that the past year and a half, and it's been hard to gauge because every day I just wake up on that day and then I'm like, what am I doing this day? But when I look at it back in perspective, it's like the analogy of a golf shot. If it's like off by like a certain degree, and then like the further it goes, the bigger the difference between, you know, the original trajectory and its new one. And I feel like the longer it goes, the further apart my two finishing points or my trajectories are looking. And I was like, damn, if I didn't meet you when I did the internship at MSC, I would be a completely different person. Because not only like can you help people with like the business side and like the skill set, but also just as a person. Like I don't think I'd give a shit about my communication with other people. The way I think about relationships would be completely different. And as, at least for me and us talking, you know that's what's really meaningful to me. When I'm like, what's the best bit of your day? It's like, it was a conversation I had. It's not like riding like quad bikes or doing this really exciting activity or getting this reward. It's like, no, it's the interpersonal bonds, and it's how I carry myself. And I'd noticed I just carry myself in such a different way. And I think that just transfers into everything that I do. And I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing in like the next 1.5 years. I don't know exactly where I'll be, but I like the idea and I like the trajectory that I'm on. And it's a good challenge. It's a good challenge, and it's one that I really love, and I want to keep leaning into.
Well said. And I definitely relate to you on that what's the favorite part of your day? It's like, it's the root of the connection that you had, the conversation you had. I see that similarity that I have in you. With the experience over the last 15 months, if we went a little bit narrower, what have been the highlight, most valuable insights, skill sets that you've developed? Like, what's been the most valuable things you've assimilated into you from business and skill set from where you were to where you are now over the last 15 months?
Business and skill set separately, or just
separately.
Everything?
Yeah.
Okay. So skill set, it would be time management, managing my time and how important that is to me and our relationship with time, especially coming from somewhere where I get paid by the hour to now you actually work for every single bit of money that you earn. That's been a game changer. And now I think that significantly impacts my worldview in terms of what I do with my time. And it made me realize you have to love this to be able to work in that way. And I think that's probably helped me find ways and lean into aspects of what I do that I do love. Besides the time management, the communication with others. So in terms of actual potential clients or people that I can help, and understanding different personality types, and probably not letting as much counter-transference from my own emotions bleed into people that I help, whether that's helping someone who's maybe not as expressive, and understanding that doesn't mean that they don't value how I help them. It's just a different person. And even though I tend to be a bit more expressive in especially gratitude and my thanks, and I love talking about what I think about things, it's like a contrast, but understanding that, it's people are just different, and it doesn't mean you can't meet them in a way that you can still help them. And understanding that you're working with them as like, I'm here to support them. It's not like a my way or the highway. Like, you have to do things by these rigid rules and these values that I have, or I won't help these people. It's like, no, I actually want to help as many people as I can. I think those have been the biggest things, even though they are largely like psychology and communication. I think they just play so much into business, and it's like, it's not just like having a spreadsheet or like knowing how to make programs quickly.
And how do you compare the version of Jai that was like Jai 15 months ago to Jai now? Like, what's the difference between those two men?
I'm more relaxed, and I'll walk, like I'd say, like as an example, like I'll walk into a consult. I'm not stressed like when I first started. I'm not like, damn, how do I sign this person up? Now I'm like, is there a way I can help this person? And I'm just so much more relaxed, and I approach it with a mindset where it's like, I don't have to work with everyone. And like sometimes I'd walk out of a consult with someone and I'm just like, that was just like a great conversation, honestly. And even when I feel like I really struggle to meet someone where they're at, I still feel like I'll leave them with a lot that they could build off, and I don't harbor any resentment for myself or for other people in that sense. And yeah, I just think I probably wouldn't still be doing this job if I didn't engage in some sort of like mentorship or extra guidance from someone like you.
You don't think you'd be doing coaching?
At least not on the trajectory that I was at just before, at least when I started, because I'm not sure exactly what the time frame was when I actually started doing Trinity and when I was coaching. But I remember when I started PT and I was like, yeah, I think I was like, I didn't even really know how I earn money off it. I didn't understand like the intricacies of like being a sole trader and running your own business. And yeah, I was literally like, how long is my contract? And I was like, well, at least I'm gonna give it a hard go for like my initial contract. But I was like telling myself, I'm like, oh, I can do something else after this. But then I noticed the more I lent into trying to make it work, the more I enjoyed it. And that makes me, that's why I really believe, like, if you want to know, like, there's lots of people who maybe want to know what they want to do or where they want to be, and there's like a bit of confusion or lack of direction. By taking action, that was like the biggest moment that I've ever noticed, that taking action gives you the feedback that you need. Not just sitting there and thinking like, oh, what should I do next? Or, oh yeah, I just got to, like, if I catch myself saying I need to think about something, I like cringe a little bit at myself, because I'm like, it's very rarely that there are like certain times where like you actually just need a little bit of space just to actually like contemplate what you're doing. But the majority of the time, and even in myself, I'm just like, it's just leaning away from the discomfort, even though I know that the discomfort is what gives me the feedback to tell me where I actually want to go or what I actually want to do in any situation. Right. Yeah, I don't want to be saying like, I just got to think about it, or I don't know, or maybes. I lean away from that, because that's something that I really did a lot in the past. Indecisiveness. And I remember actually when I first came to you, I wanted to embody a bit more of like a masculine personality, someone who's a bit more direct and disagreeable when needed. And to me, like when I think of that now, that's like the opposite end of the spectrum. It's very apathetic. It's very indecisive. It's like, I don't want to put forward my beliefs because I'm scared of like some sort of rejection or something not going the way that I wanted it to. And at least if I don't even if I don't project myself forward and my own actual beliefs and what I think about certain situations, I'm like, oh, at least I'm out of the firing line. But then like you don't go anywhere.
Right. That's great. So now you're putting yourself in that discomfort more, because you realize it's absolutely needed to become the person you want.
At least to get some information on becoming the person I actually want, because I definitely know that if I'm just sitting there doing the same thing, I'm not getting that.
Okay, so that's the insight. What about the challenge? Like, what are the biggest obstacles, challenges that you've faced in the last 15 months that, you know, I may have helped guide you through, and how did I do that, and what did that look like?
It would be communication it largely resonates, like revolves around communication, but communication with clients and how to actually uphold my own values when it comes to like running a business, whether that's compromising on values of the service or my time. Communication around those aspects has been really big, as well as the community within Trinity. And when I have like an issue, I know I can actually take that to you or take it to the community in our Discord group, and I can ask it there, and I know that it either I'll get some feedback there, and we'll probably also cover it in one of our discovery calls where we cover case studies and whatnot. And I know that I'm going to get feedback on an issue that maybe it's like, well, I haven't experienced this before, but every single person who's coached or starts coaching, they're going to have times where they get a person with an issue that they haven't actually had to help give guidance and give feedback on. And at least I know, well, it might be out of my skill set, but more often than not, it's something that I can actually learn. And having people who have also probably been through similar things and they give me their advice it's invaluable. Like that's one of the biggest things in regards to just Trinity in general. It's that community aspect and bouncing ideas and having the calls where we do cover these topics, and maybe more specific topics like when we covered like the gut and whatnot, where you actually have the set call for that exact topic. But it's not just the retreats. Whereas like lots of other people maybe value the retreat side of it a lot more. Me, I like having the security and the ability to get like a personalized dose of feedback on my own problems or roadblocks, because yeah, it can be quite lonely when you're running your own kind of ship and your own business. And yeah, that's like the biggest thing for me, I'd say, up there.
All right, and for those people, maybe even a younger Jai who's watching this back, I guess like a Riley, a younger Jai watching this back, considering doing what you did, what you leaned into, an experience like Trinity, but is afraid. What do you say to him or her honestly to assess whether this is the right thing for them?
It would be initially you have to have a bit of faith in yourself. And what I mean by that, it's not just like a platitude, but just to actually say that you actually have to bet on yourself to a degree, whether that's like a financial investment or time, effort, all of the above. And to find a group or a single person who you really resonate with and you like appreciate where they are and their impact on other people around them, and just be open to learning from those kind of people. And then on top of that, actually just having faith that the future you will be better. Like you will be better at solving issues. You will be better at coaching people on the floor. You will be better at solving nutritional problems and communicating with different personalities. It's easy to just see all your deficiencies, but when you know that you're putting in the work and you have the access to the resources like that I have through Trinity, I know that it's possible, and I know that it's in my control, and it's not a question of do I have the resources, but it's a question of am I going to do it? Am I going to really dedicate myself to learning about these issues that I really struggle with, or am I just going to sit there and just wish that I had the resources, you know? And to me, like, especially with the financial side of things, the fact that, well, if you don't develop, you're not actually paying a cost in terms of the actual growth of your business. It's like, it's the exact same thing as when I'd work with people and I'd try and add some sort of, not a caveat, but a guarantee that if I can't actually help people, I don't want to take their money, because then I'm taking someone's money for not even doing my job properly, and I want other people to actually just be able to lean into it fully without having that sense of risk. Because I definitely had a lot more of a scarcity mindset around my money, and I just didn't understand the psychology behind it as much before I started, whereas now I just think of it in a completely different way, and I want to keep using it to keep making myself the best version of myself, because at the end of the day, I care about who I am, not how much money I have in my bank account. But odds are, if you're the best version of yourself, you're probably going to get the best of both.
So faith and backing yourself and having that belief is a big backbone of that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you reflect on? Is there anything else that you would want to share? Even feedback for me. Constructive, positive, doesn't matter. What's in your heart or head?
I think I'd touch on the going back to like the all-encompassing nature of doing something like Trinity. The fact that I feel supported even in my relationships with people, even if it seems like something that's quite far from my own business, whether it's like relationship with family or my own personal relationship with my girlfriend. It's invaluable to me to feel like I have that guidance and like arms to fall back on in those areas, because your relationships with people are what forms the foundation of your life, and I think that having that security and guidance in those areas is just something that I didn't expect going into it, but I come out of it on the other side and I'm like, that's dope. Like now I feel very passionate about other people realizing their own version of having the best relationships with their family, friends, partners, because I just see how it's impacted me, and I just, I feel like I have arms to fall back on in that sense, just like on a personal
How does that
note.
feel?
It's awesome. It's the best, because I'm never, I do have doubts, but then I know I have people to refer to in a way that I can get feedback in regards to like certain issues that I have. Whereas in the past, I might have like, I don't know, you just like look up a YouTube video or you just keep it to yourself and just like try and soldier on a bit. And I maybe like talk to family, but then also your family aren't always the best people to talk to for those kind of issues, because you don't have as much of a impartial opinion coming back to you. And for quite a lot of people, thankfully not me, but quite a lot of other people, they probably have more tumultuous relationships with family, and they don't have the luxury of having those people to refer to and like fall back on. But even then, it's just invaluable in terms of like my personal relationships, and I think I've never been as happy with myself as I am now, despite still having like a degree of dissatisfaction in some areas. But then by giving it reference and coming to like a retreat like this and realizing like, damn, I've been doing this for like almost 500 or 600 days, a year and a half, I'm like, actually we've come pretty far. I'll look back on like old Trinity calls that we have recorded and just like that library of all the topics that we've covered, and I'm like, damn, you look so much different. And also just seeing like the issues that I was having back then compared to now, and I'm like, like I actually feel like I can answer my own questions when I watch like a callback sometimes.
Like the wisdom of today.
Yeah, and I don't think I'd know that unless I had it as like a resource to fall back on. But your relationships, and I've realized how important they are, because I came into it without one, and there's definitely a degree of loneliness, but I actually just didn't realize how important and how positive it can be, and how positive an impact it can be on my life, and it doesn't take away from those kind of things. And yeah, it's more than just like coaching people on the gym floor or just being friends with someone. It's like, who do you love? How do you love? And how does that affect everything else in your life? Because yeah, it can be very solitary running your own business, your own life in that sense. They're probably more isolated on average. So every single relationship that you do have does matter. And I don't feel like I have any bad relationships in my life.
Seems like this space right here has been a great place to foster that.
Yeah.
You stand out to me, Jai, as someone with a good heart, someone who cares a lot, someone who's really thoughtful, someone who cares not only about other people, about how they show up in the world, and it's not easy. Constant feedback, constant critique, constant communication with yourself, but I want to commend you on that. You know, I want to say, like, great job, like really great job, and making that commitment to yourself and walking that path and becoming such a more mature, sophisticated, masculine man over the last year and a half. You're not the same man by any stretch. I can feel the presence you embody. I can hear your voice when you speak with more power, and that's only after 15 months. Years to come, inshallah, we will see. But I think you've done a really good job, Joe. Not just in your business, not just as a coach, but I think most importantly as a person. You should be proud of that.
Thank you so much. The words don't go unnoticed, or and they're heavy in a good way. Heavy in a good way, and I really want to make it cool to be like that. Yeah. Be loving and be philosophical and think about things a little bit deeper and be really mindful and care about all those aspects, because well, actually when I saw you doing your work and caring about things like bloods and all the really small, minute, nerdy details in relation to people's like health and fitness, but you treat it like a sport. And I come from an athletic background where I wanted to be a professional soccer player, and I still have that. I still feel like I have that flame in terms of I want to treat things like a sport, and I want to make it cool. I want to be great at what I do. I don't know if I'll be the greatest at what I do, but I want to try. And yeah, I want to leave a really positive impact and legacy on people around me.
You are. And thank you, Joe.
Thank you. Means a lot.
You're welcome. You earned it.